Now, I'd like to start my talk with a small exercise. So I'd like you to please close your eyes and please try to remember the happiest time of your life. Some of you may have felt happiest when you succeeded in your business or your study, or when you got a good bonus. Some of you may have felt happiest when you spent a relaxing time with your friend or your family. Okay, now please open your eyes again. When you felt happiest, was that material happiness or mental happiness? As a concept, happiness is the same for every person, but how it is achieved or how you get there is different for every person, and depending on the era and the situation. So today, I'd like to explore what happiness is and how it is realized. Do you know this person? He is the fourth king of Bhutan, Jigme. Some of you may know that Bhutan is an independent and landlocked country about the size of Switzerland or Taiwan, and located east of Nepal and sandwiched between India and China. What is Bhutan famous for? First of all, Bhutan is famous as a happiness-centered country. In the 1970s, the fourth king of Bhutan, Jigme said, gross national happiness is more important than gross national product. That is to say, GNH is more important than GNP or GDP. Thereafter, the gross national happiness became the general policy of this kingdom, including its constitution. So, what is the gross national happiness? It's not only a philosophy, but it's also a policy and also indicator. For example, Bhutan's government recognizes 9 domains of GNH: education, living standard, health, psychological well-being, community vitality, cultural diversity and resilience, time use, good governance, and ecological diversity and resilience. And these 9 domains are further subdivided into 33 indicators and finally 124 sub-indicators. And the Bhutanese government also has the Gross National Happiness Commission, which is a policy planning agency and also has strong and direct influence on the society and the policies. So, gross national happiness seems like a good concept and also a good policy, right? But here is a question. Is Bhutan a really happy country? What do you think? According to the Satisfaction with Life Index of Leicester University in United Kingdom, Bhutan was ranked 8th happiest country among 178 countries in 2006, while it was ranked 168 richest, rather one of the poorest country in the GDP ranking of the World Bank. How about here, this country, Japan? Japan is ranked the 3rd richest country, while it is ranked 90th happiest or not very happy country, right? According to the Satisfaction with Life Index. Here is another question. Why is Bhutan highly ranked when it comes to happiness, while it is ranked very low when it comes to GDP? In order to understand this contradiction, we need to focus on Bhutanese mentality and spirituality. When we say the gross national happiness is based on Buddhism, which is a spiritual tradition in Bhutan, some people may have strong objections. According to them, GNH is a policy and Buddhism is a religion, and politics and religion must be separated. So, gross national happiness, which is a policy, cannot be based on Buddhism, which is a religion. But here we need to note that Buddhism is not only a religion, but it has both a religious part and a non-religious part. Buddhism is what Buddha said or Buddha's teaching, which includes philosophy, ethics, practice, faith, etc. Among these, faith is a religious part of Buddhism, of course. But on the other hand, philosophy and ethics are non-religious part of Buddhism. And the Bhutanese government never obliges its citizens to believe in the Buddha or practice only Buddhism. Rather, they just try to apply non-religious part of Buddhism, such as Buddhist philosophy, to their society and policies. So, in order to understand Bhutanese gross national happiness, we need to understand non-religious part of Buddhism, such as Buddhist philosophy. So now I'd like to re-examine happiness according to Buddhist philosophy, which is non-religious part of Buddhism. Happiness can be divided into material happiness and mental happiness. In today's society, people pursue material happiness rather than mental happiness. But according to the Buddhist theory of the middle way, both material happiness and mental happiness are equally important. And it is important to keep the balance between material happiness and mental happiness in order to achieve real and absolute happiness, according to the theory of the middle way. Also, happiness can be divided into personal happiness and collective happiness. That is to say, my happiness and our happiness. According to the Buddhist practice of compassion, benefiting others, of course, collective happiness is more important than personal happiness. That is to say, our happiness is more important than my happiness. But according to the Buddhist theory of interdependence, both personal happiness and collective happiness are equally important. Here is a question: what is the Buddhist theory of interdependence? For example, we believe we are independent individuals, right? But is that true? According to the theory of interdependence, no one can exist independently. For example, I cannot exist independently without my parents because I would not have been born without my parents. Likewise, no one can exist independently without a relationship with the others. So, everyone is interdependent. This is the theory of interdependence of Buddhist philosophy. According to this theory, my happiness will become your happiness, and your happiness will become my happiness because we are all interdependent. At that time, we don't need to separate our happiness. Rather, we can share it. And if we can share our happiness will multiply, right? Because if we can share our happiness, my happiness is of course mine, and your happiness is also mine. Thank you very much. Yes. And his happiness and her happiness are also mine. And all of your happiness is mine. I praise you all here. Thank you. On the other hand, my happiness is yours. Yes. So if we think like that, our shared happiness will become much bigger than my small happiness. Such an idea is attested in such ancient scriptures. This is the Buddhist scripture in the 12th century. And in our research, we are reading such ancient scriptures and try to extract the essence of ancient wisdom and try to apply it to our modern society, and if possible, even our future society. And also, some aspects of Buddhist practices, such as meditation, are researched in the field of neuroscience and cognitive science. By the way, in our present time, people are trying to make a huge amount of products in order to make people happy or excited. But if we shift our way of thinking through our wisdom, we can increase our happiness. For example, please imagine you buy a whole cake. If you don't apply your wisdom, you might eat the whole cake at once and feel sick, like that. But if you apply your wisdom to consuming the cake, which is material wealth, you can eat only 1 or 2 pieces, and you can enjoy eating the cake. And if you apply much more wisdom, you can eat only 1 or 2 pieces, and then you can share the rest pieces with your friends. At that time, both you and your friends are equally and very happy, right? So it contributes both your personal happiness and collective happiness. So this example shows that we can increase our happiness through our wisdom. But of course, in today's society, material development is very important, so we don't need to reject it. But at the same time, we can also appreciate our inner development or mental development. And generally, material development and inner development do not contradict each other. In any case, if we reset our way of thinking, we can become happier anytime. Today, I introduce Bhutanese gross national happiness. And now, this policy, this concept is appreciated from many countries, including Japan, as many countries are trying to incorporate similar policies in their own countries. But in such an increasingly globalized world, we can further develop this concept, that to say from gross national happiness to gross global happiness. Today, I introduced the theory of interdependence of Buddhist philosophy. According to the theory of interdependence, both personal happiness and the collective happiness are equally important. And this theory can be also applied to our international relationship. That is to say, the happiness of my country and the happiness of the other countries are equally important because my country and the other countries are interdependent. So, gross national happiness and gross global happiness are equally important according to the theory of interdependence of Buddhist philosophy. Now is another question. How can we achieve gross global happiness? That's not a very easy question, of course. But first, we can just start thinking about happiness. What is happiness? What is your happiness? What is my happiness? How to achieve both your happiness and my happiness? And then, we can also think about the difference between the concepts, global and national. In order to understand gross global happiness, we need to understand the other countries. That is to say, the history, culture, and current state of the other countries. So, knowing the others is very important. And after knowing or understanding gross global happiness, we can just act on our conclusion about gross global happiness. Of course, we may make some mistakes, but it's much better than doing nothing or just saying. Rather, we can polish our wisdom even through such mistakes if we are willing to learn something from such mistakes. So, we don't need to fear occasional failure in our future action. Happiness is limitless, and I believe that if we could change the quality of our happiness through our wisdom, only then can we dramatically enhance our human happiness beyond any limit. So, let's start from happiness. Thank you very much for your kind attention.